What's up, everyone? It's Gavin or Tweek.
Dude, this is Matt Randall, but I was in Riddles stream earlier, and you know the intro song we play?
Yeah.
Just random. So I guess someone song requested that, and he just goes, "What's up, everyone? It's Gavin or Tweek. If you know, you know." It was so cool. It's Marcus or Pink. What's good?
It's Charles or Chuck. I was like, dude, I do have another name. The heck?
Ooh.
Why don't I use it?
I gotta say, you were definitely Chuck Nasty all weekend. Chucky Long Island. What's going on, guys? You got Haz or Matt. What's happening, everyone? We're obviously 3 out of 4 of us are just returning from Vegas. I actually got back at like 2 this morning or 1 this morning, and then worked a full day, and also worked a full day yesterday. So
he's correct.
Your boy's a little tired.
Yeah, we're tired.
It was a long event, and I think we'll just jump right into it. And I think a part of that was the format that we worked with, especially, you look at the LCQ qualifiers, Big D and Kurama, they had to play a stack bracket on Friday, and then the Saturday, the Swiss pools action. I love the format personally, like especially for an invitational that size where you want to see everybody in the room play as many matches against each other as you can. But I loved it. I don't know how you guys felt about it. Or I guess it's cool because we get a perspective. Like Marcus was at home watching it, we were there commentating, and then Gavin, obviously, you were playing it. So yeah, what do you think, Chuck?
I thought it was cool because with an invitational, you want as much content as possible usually, right? Like when you look at Summit, there's like the group phases, right, into the gauntlet phase, because obviously you just don't have as much players as a regular tournament. So you want to get as much matches as possible with the invited talent there, or the players. So the gauntlet phase felt like we're getting those matches, like the sheer amount of matches, but it's not set into a group, right? Where it's like, oh, well, we know Tweek is going to play these other 3 players. Like that's it for today. But like when Tweek goes into, Ludwig's invitational, it's like, oh, snap, like your first round, but then after that, it's like kind of like bracket where like almost anything could happen, but like even more suspense in a sense where it's like there's nothing projected, right? It's like, oh, if I win, I either fight this or this person, or if I lose, I fight this or this person. So I thought it was nice because there was a lot of surprise factor matchups where like it gets so hard to predict where you're not going to try and predict all of it. Like, oh, if this person da. So it's like that was cool, and we got more matches, and it wasn't as projected as like a group phase. So that's what I really liked about it.
Yeah, for me, the first couple matches like went as projected or like what I thought, and then from there it's just like a roller coaster of like, depends on who I beat, who I lose to, and like for me, kind of like Summit, like where I just get to play a bunch of players and matchups, and I really appreciate that experience and like data to work with in the future. Like I just played so many different players and characters that like, and they're all like, the best of the best kind of players. So like, and that's before bracket even started. I felt like I had played like in every different scenario possible. That's like great for me, especially because I feel like with Diddy, I really need specific info for every matchup sometimes. So like in the future, it's just like, the practice I got, the actual tournament sets I got, like it feels like I have so much to work with going forward. And I feel like that's, as a player, like that's what you want from an invitational kind of event, right? Like, there's so many talented players, and like there's so many specialists, and like I just had so much to work with. So yeah, I liked it a lot, before going into the actual bracket. I thought it was great.
Yeah, like when Charles said earlier, like, oh man, all right, we see the groups, and it's like 4 people or whatever, and these people are gonna play each other, and like,
yeah,
it's like, all right, I mean, you get to hard study for those people, and it's not as it's a different skill set almost compared to like an open bracket. Like when you go to a Summit, like you there's a lot of preparation involved, but when you go to an open bracket like a Genesis event or something like that, like you can prep all you want for your projected bracket, but who knows, somebody might be playing hot that day, somebody might not be playing hot. And I feel like Swiss was also kind of like that, where like I was like, okay, they may be projected to play these people if they keep winning, but like who knows, somebody might be playing hot. Kurama was playing Omega hot. Big D was playing really hot. Like, so it's cool because then you get to see people like, okay, well, they're playing hot. Like, we get to see them like at their peak versus like other people, right? Who may be at their peak or may be playing really well.
When I say
So that was like super, super cool to see. And the best thing about it was the red zone, bro. That's what I said that earlier.
The
red
zone or something. Yeah.
We were just sitting there. I was like, dude, there are 4 matches on this one stream. I would hate if I missed any of these. Like, but now I get to see all of them, and that was super, super cool. Because if it was Swiss and like all these matches were happening at the same time off stream, I'd be like, bro, I didn't get to see anything. But I think like playing into the format of Swiss with their with the production was really, really cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
And even logistically, I know on Twitter Aiden was talking about it, but kind of their POV was like, okay, well, if we can have 4 side streams, but then we only have like, because that side stream had 4 streams going on at the same time with no casters, right? And it's like, oh, okay, we get they get to hire less casters and either save money or pay whatever casters they have more money, right? So I think that is just it feels like it makes more sense because you get more stream matches, because how usually having one side stream is the standard, right? And then if you have like 3 streams for a game, that's like a lot. I've seen some tournaments do that, but that is a lot of like a whole nother stream, a whole nother set of casters, right? So that in a TO perspective, I don't have a ton of TO experience. I have a little bit because I used to do stuff with 2GG, but even logistically, it made a lot of sense. And it was sick in a way where it's like, yes, it's hard to keep up with all 4 of these, but if you watch one and you kind of missed another, you can just go watch the VOD of it, right? And all of these are going to be individually uploaded as well. So there's so many times, and you guys know this throughout a lot of tournaments, and which is why one of the sickest reasons of going to an in-person tournament is you can watch those matches that happen off stream that no one else can see, right?
Yeah.
But this really brought that experience to everyone at home, which is so sick. I believe they didn't get every single LCQ match, but every once the Swiss bracket started, every single match got recorded, which is amazing.
Totally agree, Charles. And I think one of the things with it too is that, well, one thing is Aiden, the way that he said it was he thinks that the way we structure tournaments right now is like kind of a dated system. Like it's something they're looking to update or like kind of revolutionize a little bit. And what a way to do it. I mean, like Marcus said, we were talking about it before we started the show. The NFL RedZone, I mean, if you could watch 4 NFL teams, they even have, we call it, when we watch football and 8 teams are about to score on the RedZone. Sorry, this might be a weird crossover. For those of you who don't watch football, the RedZone is a TV package you could buy where you have access to every single NFL game, and it'll specifically highlight it when teams are about to score. So when teams are close to the goal line, they pop up as their own corner. And sometimes there are 8 channels that you need to watch at once, and we call it the Octo. The Octo Zone is what we call it when we watch. But so if your brain, like if football viewers or like sports viewers have the ability to digest all that information at once, it works very well for Smash too. Like, and sometimes you can see even on the screen that we have now, one screen's on a winning screen, one screen's on like a controller deselect. Like one's like, it's not always like everything needs to be watched all at once. And with YouTube too, and we were talking about this with our producer Chris right before we got started, it's easier to rewind and go back and watch something. So if like Kurama hits a dunk on one and then there's a kill screen on the other for, you know, Falcon hitting a knee or something, you can go back and be like, how'd that happen? And like go back a little bit. So it's really neat. And I think the spirit of it, like you said, Charles, is to capture that feeling of I didn't miss any matches this weekend, especially at a tournament this caliber. That's like the #1 priority. Obviously, as a commentator, I want to commentate every match that happens or get a chance to, but that's also not realistic, right? So it's all good. But we had, it was a great time, and I'm glad that they had that side stream going on. I kind of wish I could have watched it a little bit. I can go back and watch the VODs, but I don't think the 4 view was captured, was it? I guess it'd be just in the raw VOD.
I don't know. I don't know if you can get the 4 view.
The RedZone view.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not sure. I mean, I'm sure if you go check the VOD, but I'm not sure if they did the RedZone view for everything.
Uploaded it. Yeah.
It's also really cool because you ever like, you know, those tournaments where like they record off stream and like sometimes the VODs just get lost in the abyss and you're like,
yeah,
bro, what happened? Like that probably won't happen with something like this, because even if like the recording's corrupted or like something happened, like they still have the raw like 4-man VOD or whatever,
and
it's
there's probably like recording at the same time, right?
Yeah.
Like so many different things are happening. And honestly, you know, huge shout outs to Lud and his team, obviously, like Aiden and Slime as well. Amazing event. And the really cool thing, one thing to note as well is Aiden and Slime. I'm not sure about Lud, but I know for sure Aiden and Slime used to work at Beyond the Summit, and they are pretty much the reasons why the Summit style, like of the couch and how Smash, like obviously Summits are a big deal and couch commentary is a really big deal, right? That and the whole thing with the skits, like they really revolutionized that. And Aiden even came up with the current Summit bracket of doing like the groups into the gauntlet, right? So like the gauntlet phase was something Aiden thought up of, and Aiden is really smart when it comes to brackets. So it's really sick to see that Aiden is like, oh, hey, I want to optimize brackets, or I think like the way we do it is so outdated. What's another way we can do it? Kind of like just thinking of so many different ways. And this one was really sick. Even if you and I liked how there was reward for going 3-0 in the gauntlet, right? Like if you went 3-0, not gauntlet, but 3-0 in the Swiss,
bro,
you got to pick your opponent. You got to
Yeah.
draft your opponent.
I love that.
And then
Very
it's just so
interesting.
funny because all the top seeds went 3-2 in the Swiss,
Yeah.
which was like really funny. So it's like, oh, all these top seeds pick from. And there's still like not all the top seeds, but I don't know. It just adds a little flair to it.
It's dramatic, bro. I love that.
For ego picks, right? Because like Leo went for the on paper pick, right? Leo's like, I'm trying to win this tournament. This is the on paper pick, right? And then Zama comes through. He's like, yo, I'm 1-1 with Riddles. Like, bring that ass over here, And then
Well,
like that's still so sick.
It was hype though, yeah.
You have the option to.
I was thinking, I really thought Leo might pick me. I really thought he might.
That would have been an ego pick.
He said he thought about it, but he just went with like a matchup thing.
And he was 1,000% right with that.
Yeah,
pick. That was one of the most dominant 3-0s we saw in the.
I mean, Leo played fantastic the entire weekend. It was insane.
Well, he did drop a game.
Yeah, that's what I said to him. I fist bumped him after he won the tournament.
Yeah, he needs a break. He shouldn't play for a while.
He's got to relax. Yeah, I fist bumped him after he won. I was like, "But what's up with that one game, bro? Like, what happened?" And he like rolled his eyes, like, "I know, I shouldn't have dropped it." Like, I love that he's into this arc where he's like talking shit again, like feeling himself. Like that was cocky Leo. We don't see that a whole lot. He's usually Mr. Quiet, Mr. Humble, like just win your bracket, go home. But no, man, he was talking shit. Like,
I mean, this tournament was just
hilarious.
A different experience too.
I like what Chuck said too. With the bracket, it's and Marcus too. Like, it is kind of a different skill set, and I think that might be a part of why Leo did so well. Is that he's so well rounded and so ready and so practiced. Like, you can't really surprise him with a whole lot. Some players might need a little more warm up or a little more practice or a little more preparation, but him, especially with the 3 character rotation,
he had a plan.
The lead Byleth, the Joker for DeBuzz specifically, and it's personal, is what he told me. So yep.
And Aegis for Sonic.
And Aegis for Sonic, yeah. Like him firing on like that is just, it looks unstoppable. Honestly, it was borderline unstoppable. It only got stopped once by Kurama's Mario.
Mm-hmm.
So only one.
I was actually really curious if Leo was gonna pull Aegis back out, because I know after like Summit and stuff, he was like, I don't know about Aegis. And I was like, I saw that last day he was projected to play Sonics, and I was like, I don't think he's going Joker or Byleth. I think his best bet would be to go Aegis. So
Aegis is one of the best picks against Sonic in the game.
And Byleth and Joker both lose to Sonic, so
especially Byleth.
Yeah,
Joker, Joker, you're not throwing if you pick it. Like Leo could beat any Sonic with Joker. Absolutely.
Yeah. When I asked him about it, though, he said it was a no-brainer for Aegis. You know what I mean? Like, that's how he feels about it, at least.
I think some of the best picks for Sonic are like Fox and Aegis.
Yeah, speed. Like you essentially, it's just that situation after spin dash, right?
You can keep up. You can play the game.
I was gonna say, Mithra's dash attack is just nasty.
Yeah,
especially like how fast it is. Like, damn.
Mithra Nair. It's like, oh, you're gonna spin dash in this general area. As long as you're not on the come up of the spin dash hop, like you're gonna win. So
consistent kills, speed, burst. Like you need a bit of everything versus Sonic, and those characters have that.
But yeah, I guess we can start kind of from the top, right? Leo with his amazing run. Unless, Gavin, do you want to talk about your run and your experience, like personally, or anything like that? Like kind of match. Like
it might be a while. There's so many sets.
There was a lot of sets. Yeah, they were great sets though.
One thing I'll say before we dive in, and this is interesting, is that on the mainstream, like I love this format so much, the Swiss format, more matches, all that. Sometimes I just had no idea what was going on the other stream just because we're so locked in, you know what I mean? So just a note for next time is like, Sometimes chat would help out, which is awesome, which I invited. I was like, please DM me on Twitter if there's big upsets, like when Light got knocked out or, any other result that we saw on the other stream. So that was helpful, but hopefully there's a way next time we can get those results immediately. But anyway, go on, Gavin.
Yeah, so
Day one.
I knew my first match was Ken. So shoutouts to Sonics because I've played against Sonics so many times online and we've played in tournament, and he's like one of my practice partners, I would go as far to say. It kind of just, we kept playing so much to the point where I kind of realized like, oh, like this person is like one of the main people in my life pushing me to get better at Smash just because we played so much online. So I was super ready to play against Ken. I had a game plan. I was really ready for any stage. It was like an hour long set or something. It wasn't even game 5. It was 3-1. So imagine how long it would have been if it went to game 5. But game 1, I virtually timed him out. He like went for a risky thing to try to even the game up, and I spiked him at like 10%. Game 2, he timed me out. Game 3, I timed him out with a crazy like risky setup. And
you were behind game 3, right? In
yes,
percent. Right. Say the situation. This shit was crazy.
He had a lead. I got a couple hits and he was running away, and I like threw a banana from full screen. It like barely touched him in the air, and I just barreled into him, and it gave me a 4% lead with like 5 seconds left. And I ran away and then did like an up B off screen, and he whiffed a homing attack and I won. And then game 4 was like last stock. Like it was basically the fastest game, but it was still virtually like a minute or 2 left, at maybe a minute.
So you barrels into him with Diddy, which also does what, like 5% to you?
6. It does 6 damage to Diddy, and I had a 4% lead after the hit.
After, that's what I was saying. Did you do the math before you do that, or were you like, it's close enough?
I knew I would be winning.
Yeah.
But it was still a close call. Like when I saw it was 4%, I was like, wow, that's even less than I expected.
You were like, oh shit. Like
I was like, oh my god.
Calculated.
The crowd, like not a lot of people were watching, but people in the venue were watching. Like everyone was freaking out. Even I looked behind and I was like, did y'all just see that? That was so insane.
Those are the most intense sets when it's
then like
someone like pivots the percent or whatever. It
is so messed up. That was the most fun I had in the entire bracket. Like my entire weekend, that was the most exhilarating, the most fun I had. Like, and it was just timeouts over and over. But
people be complaining about timeouts, but if they go down to a situation like that, there's nothing bad.
The last few seconds are like the craziest.
They're insane. You just gotta wait 7 minutes to get there, which sucks.
Exactly. Yeah. So I won 3-1, and I was just so like, I was like trying to collect myself, but that final moment was so like awesome. And then my next set was Kola. This is probably the one that upset me the most. I lost 3-0, and it felt like I never had any footing. Like I was dropping basic stuff. But there are moments where I think Kola played really well. Like the ledge trapping. Like it felt like Kola was like smothering me, and I couldn't breathe. I couldn't figure out a stage that was comfortable. And I think a lot of this is mostly on Kola. I just couldn't get comfortable, honestly. So I really want to like reevaluate that matchup and everything, especially because I was really looking forward to the set because I also lost the previous set. So Kola's definitely on like the list for someone I really want to beat now.
Not the list.
Bringing it up again.
I really want to beat Kola because of the 2 losses in a row. But yeah, like I don't have a lot to say because it was probably the most lost I felt, especially because it's not like it's like a weird matchup that I don't know or something like that. It's just I just couldn't get anything started.
You historically seem to have a pretty tough time with Roy. I've noticed.
Yeah, it's weird because
which is really
on paper when I play friendlies or like when I think of character matchups, it never feels like it's a big problem. But statistically in tournament, I lose more than I win versus Roy.
Goblin and Kola recently too.
Yeah, like pretty much every time I play against a really good Roy, I lose. So I think there's definitely something to dive into there. And then after that, I think it was Sisqui. and that was more of a like, okay, this matchup is so bad. Like I was really trying to collect myself and like be ready for that. Game 1 went really well, and that was about it, honestly, versus Sisqui. I couldn't get off the ledge. I couldn't kill. Like Samus is really heavy, has a specific trip animation, like always has a hitbox somewhere. Like, so I think, but that one I feel like I know what I want to do next time, which is great in comparison to the Kola set. So that's pretty good. And I have beaten Sisqui before, so it's like, okay, like, but after that set, I was pretty down because it's like, damn, I'm 1-2. Like, if I lose one more set, like, I can't even play tomorrow. Like, I was like, in my head, I'm like, I really want to keep playing Smash. Like, in the bracket, like, I want to play tomorrow. And my next set was Myran. And I was like, okay, like, I just fought Samus Diddy. Now I have to fight Olimar Diddy. And in terms of, like, a matchup, it's, like, very similar in terms of, like, this is just a bad matchup. You know what I mean? Like, the ratio is just, like, you're just... Diddy Kong is having zero fun. A lot of the hits are going to be difficult to land. And I actually just went Sephiroth in the mindset of, like, I think I'm about to just go, like, get eliminated. And I won 3-0. Game 1 was last hit, and I did a suicide Octoslash to win off stage.
Nice.
And I was like, wow. Like I was just chilling, like, relaxed, and I kind of just treated it like a friendly set, and it went well. Like, as the set progressed, I feel like I did better and better. So I was like, okay, cool. Maybe Sephiroth is on the table for some of these matchups for this bracket specifically, even though I haven't played him in months. And even though I did do it, I still wish I didn't, because I think in the long term, it's lazy because I don't plan on going Sephiroth in the first place. But that's another topic. So I had to play Big D.
Yeah, it should have been Cloud instead.
Honestly,
I played Big D, and what's funny is right before I left for this tournament, I made a matchup chart for Diddy just for fun, just for myself. I did send it to like Dakpo, who's a Diddy player, so I didn't like tweet it out or anything. It was mostly just for myself. Like, just I think it was right before I left. I was just waiting to go to the airport, and there's 2 characters I put in like an I don't know category where I think they might beat Diddy, but I don't have the experience. And lo and behold, one of them was Ice Climbers. Ice Climbers and Me Gunner, for anyone who's interested.
Me Gunner, wow.
And so if I didn't go Sephiroth against Myran the set before this, I would have just went Diddy and just tried to figure it out. But I started Sephiroth because I was like, all right, I'm just going to back air until Nana dies or something. Like, that was it. That was the entire game plan. And it just didn't go that well. I feel like the Diddy did all right, but Big D's a fantastic player. In my head, I was like, all right, I just need to figure this out quickly. I do wish I went Diddy the whole set, or I wish I had more time to play it out, because I feel like it was getting a little better. But like Marcus said, Big D was like playing some of the, like, out of everyone in the venue, Big D was playing like among the hottest.
That, like, and I also think he's an incredible player. I've been
He's
watching him for a long
so
time.
good. I talked to him for a while too. He's so nice.
He's the nicest guy. He's the tallest,
he's great.
Like,
he's
quietest
amazing
guy. Yeah, he rules, dude. We had dinner together one night because they gave us dinner in the venue, and he was like looking for a seat. I'm like, you want to sit here? And we hung out and talked, and just he's like the nicest,
amazing
dude, bro.
Like
the
I
most
talked to him
Canadian
about
dude
Smash,
you've ever met. Yeah,
The most Canadian.
just so nice and humble, like just the sweetest guy, and then he just beats your ass with Ice Climbers, like it's wild.
We talked about, like, because we play like very specific characters, like specific matchups and specific game plans. So we talked about all of our stuff and our matchups, our problem matchups, because we might have played earlier. So we were just chatting because we ended up not playing. We did end up playing after that. But yeah, I was like talking to him. I was like, yeah, like I'm glad we got to play, because now I like know, even though I basically don't know much at all, I know something about Diddy Ice Climbers. I think it's doable after playing it. I lost, but I feel like a couple different things, maybe a different stage or two, maybe playing it a little better. I think it was winnable. So that's cool.
You got to consider too, he hit his head on the ceiling so many times that weekend, so like he wasn't even at 100% because he's so tall, right? Like, he seriously was walking and everyone was like looking at him because his head was like scraping the ceiling.
Yeah.
What is he, 6'7", 6'6", something like? Bro, he's way taller than Gavin, which is saying Gavin's a pretty tall guy.
I
He's
think
towering
he's
over
I
you.
think he's taller than 6'6".
Dude, holy shit. He really is super tall. I do have
Yeah.
to say, too, like, so the big thing with his run, obviously, is he went 9-1 in games against you, Light, and Riddles. With you being the insane,
There's not
right?
many people on the planet that are capable of that, I think.
And obviously, again, I'm not taking anything away from him, but I do think he got a good bracket for his characters as well as
At least at first, right? Like for
Fox,
the first.
Fox for fucking sure.
Yeah,
like, for sure.
and he has a good
FGC
record versus Riddles, right?
FGC
like at least recently.
for fucking sure, like no
Yeah.
question. And then you, I don't know, and it sounds like you didn't either, but it didn't look great, honestly. Either way, but it doesn't matter. At the end
Other
of the
Diddy
day,
players think it's a losing matchup, so like
Yeah.
there's that info for like other good Diddy players I chat with all the time.
yeah.
But yeah.
But what I'm saying is that it shows that Ice Climbers, if played by a good player, could have a place in this meta. They definitely could. Like, they
Yeah.
have losing matchups for sure. But if you do well against Fox and the fighting game characters and arguably Diddy, that's some good shit right there.
Those are some
I'm
good
definitely
characters,
I'm
yeah.
definitely down. That's for sure. Like, they definitely... It just keeps going in Ultimate where you're like,
Well, he
I don't know
said,
about this
like-
character, yeah.
Like the more he plays, the more he's just ready for every matchup. He's hitting his stride. He said other Ice Climbers are doing better and better. Like, you know, Ice Climbers are playing the long game, and they always do.
They always
They're-
late game meta,
they're-
late
Yep.
meta characters. They
You
always
can't
count-
do it.
You
They're
can't
Thanos
count them
Pro.
out. You know what I mean? You can never count Ice Climbers out because they're gonna have something for situations. You know what I mean? They always got something to work with.
They're Thanos. They're inevitable every
Yeah.
single time. They
Yeah.
are inevitable. Like, it's going to happen. and
I
he showed
did
that off big
completely
time.
skip a set though.
Yeah, you
I
did.
did. I skipped the Meister set. So
Ooh,
um
the banana sundae combos.
so after fighting Myran, I was 2-2. So I went from thinking like, damn it, I'm gonna like I gotta go home. Like I'm not gonna play. Like I'm not gonna be in the final bracket. And then all of a sudden I'm 2-2, and I'm like, wait, I have one more. I want to win. And it was
Kitty calls.
between Meister or Big D. So, and it ended up being Meister. And it's funny. So I was actually sitting next to Ken while these were being decided, like just waiting. And I was like saying like, you know, Sephiroth is actually on the table because I warmed him up. And he just looked at me. He's like, no, absolutely do not go Sephiroth
No.
versus Game & Watch. He's like, no, do not. And when I said I still was considering, he's just laughing. He's like, no way. Like, everyone I've talked to about Game & Watch thinks Sephiroth Game & Watch is surprisingly just like way worse than you could imagine. And Diddy does fantastic in my opinion. So I went Diddy.
Wait, back up, because this pisses me off. Because you confused me for so. We talked about this before we went live. I was like, bro, I thought Diddy did bad in this matchup because you went
Oh,
Sephiroth
that's so
against
funny.
Game & Watch for so long. Like I thought you had a plan, but why were you doing
It's
that?
just
Why were you
pride. It's just pride.
What the
And
fuck?
It was
and
his
just-
Sephiroth phase.
You caught him in
right?
you caught every time he's done it. You caught him during his Sephiroth phase.
Yeah, it's
They
like
have top players, bro.
sometimes I don't pick characters for matchups. Sometimes I pick things for myself.
Why not? What the hell is it? Listen
I'm
to what you just said.
stupid.
What the hell? Play that,
Well,
rewind
that was when
7
it was like-
times.
It's like,
God damn.
But I
Kinda
also
had
didn't
to-
know it was that bad. I didn't know.
Sephiroth did, or did he? Which one isn't that bad?
I didn't know Sephiroth did that bad.
Oh, well. You had
'cause-
Diddy. You knew Diddy won. I don't care what
Yeah,
Sephiroth does.
I did.
You
Yeah,
confused
but
me. I was
what
like,
about
he
the
must do
sword?
bad. He must do
No.
bad. Gavin's not playing Diddy. He
It's
plays
like
Diddy. He
One
plays
of his
Diddy against
best
Pac-Man.
good character matchups.
Oh my god. I hate you, bro. You plagued my brain. I was like, oh, for sure Diddy doesn't do well in this
I picked
matchup.
the wrong answer a lot for many years. And
Yeah, but usually it's because you want to play Diddy. So when you don't go Diddy, I assume there's a huge problem. God damn
Well,
it, dude. Anyway.
yeah, so it went pretty well, and I think it's the best I played the entire event. Was that set?
I knew you were feeling yourself when you turned around after the first Banana Slamma.
That
Oh
shit
my
was so
god,
funny.
bro. Then you did it again, because you turned around like it was a once-in-a-lifetime thing, because it is obviously, hard to hit and technical and all that shit. Then you just did it again, and we were like, what the hell? We didn't know what to do on the couch, honestly.
I just think I played well. I played against a character that lets me do my thing. I can just run around and be annoying. And I had a game plan. Like I felt confident even when I was down. So yeah, I think that was great. It's my favorite W because it was a run back. I've been getting a lot of chances for run backs lately, but I've been losing them. This was a run back that I actually managed to get a W. So I have something to work with, you know what I mean, to be happy about.
Up.
Do not look at Game & Watch's percent for that clip, by the way. That was perfectly reasonable. Sakurai, if you're watching, please don't do anything.
Bring back the Infinite.
Don't come back.
No more patches.
Dude, imagine Gavin with the Diddy Infinite. Oh my god.
Gosh. I'd have at least a few more dubs under my belt. Let's just say that.
You think?
And by a few, I mean most dubs.
You already know. Ban Diddy Kong. Ban him. Ban the Infinite.
So yeah, then the Big D set was after that, and that was my the Big D was round 1 of the final bracket, and then I played Gluto.
It resets everyone into winners. I think that's something we have to know.
So that was winners.
Yeah.
So then I was in losers going to Sunday. Sunday I played Gluto. That was my last set. I lost 3-0, but it also feels like I won because it was just game 1. I was winning the whole time. I got wafted, and then it was last hit, and I barely died to a back air. Game 2, I was winning, and I literally died at 40% in the middle of the screen on my last stock. And like it was just so hard to bounce back from losing those games. Like I was just like pretty defeated. I wasn't in the worst spirits ever, but I was like taking physical damage from these matches. like I was working my ass off, and then I was just dying at 0. Like I was very, very sad after the set. I don't think I played terrible. I think there's a couple things, obviously any other set. But I just really wanted to move on, and it was one of those things where it was hard to believe I lost because of how the games went. Like I really wanted to keep playing, but I was really, really defeated for like an hour. But that's the thing; it was only an hour, and I immediately went back into the venue and I just grinded for hours.
With Donkey Kong.
I messed around.
Well,
I messed around. Like got the salt out. Then I played Diddy really seriously versus a couple people, and then I played some some random doubles money matches with Chag, and we lost 0 sets.
Huh?
We won every single set against every player that sat down.
I low-key want to see you try and doubles again. Like it's something we talk about at almost every event, aside from when we team together, obviously, and we win.
So Chag, like me and Chag, we grinded really seriously, and then on the same setup, we just played. Like people just asked if we wanted to play doubles, and we did, and it was a lot of fun. Shouts to Chag, one of my favorite people to hang out with. Shouts to Loaf, my favorite person I hung out with.
Go.
The heck?
Other than Haz and B, of course. Those are the
good save. What about Chuck?
Yeah, Charles, like y'all are the usuals. These are like
the usual
people that are like, more different experiences. Because I'm always with y'all, but
I thought we were getting replaced, Chuck.
I had a great weekend. Thank you so much to Ludwig, Aiden, Slime, anyone who put any effort into that event. Like it was fantastic.
Yeah.
It was different. It was fun. I got a lot of practice. I fucking lost, but I don't want to lose again, and I'm gonna try to win next time.
Nice. Something about those guys, Lud and Aiden and Slime, is they were really great hosts all weekend. And sometimes in Smash, what happens is an event becomes skewed towards one or the other. Melee or ultimate a little bit more, and some tournaments are more melee favored, and some are more ultimate favored, which is fine. I mean, whatever. Every tournament you get to choose your own favor, but. This felt dead even. Like Lud was on the couch with us all weekend. He asked great and engaging questions about the scene and characters, and he was into it. Slime was actually the producer on our side and was in our ears giving us, advice or direction to go or ads to read and stuff. And they really, really took care of all of us in that venue. And they really ran. So much. Dude, it was so
The food was great.
The food was good. The in-venue food, actually banger. Esports Arena Las Vegas, the real deal. Great bar. Good prices.
HyperX Arena now.
Sorry, HyperX Arena. Yeah,
sorry. Name for it. Yeah,
that's right. Apologies. HyperX Arena, incredible place, man. It was so good. Charles, did you have a good event?
Oh yeah, like the in person, the feeling of being there in person. Honestly, it was an honor to be there. You know what I mean? Just being there in person. Obviously, commentating even felt more of an honor.
Yeah,
but...
it was special. You know what I mean? Like being there just felt like a once in a lifetime thing. And I've been to so many tournaments, like. Sometimes I'm so used to being at a great event, but this I actually looked back and I was like, wow, this is like my 1 millionth tournament, but it feels like so unique and special. So
Not this clip where Lud kicked me off commentary. What the heck?
It seemed
Zone tournament.
It seemed a little different. Like even from a spectator's point of view, like
Yeah.
outside of like the different like it's like a Swiss bracket or it's like an invitational that's a little larger, like 64. That's a lot of people. Just the energy there just seemed really infectious through the screen. And you don't really get that with a lot of events. Like there's a lot of events where I can watch it and I'm like, oh, I mean, this is cool. Like, and it's just another tournament. It's just another event. But like this felt like it had it felt like a Civil War invitational style. It was really weird. Like if any of you are around for any of you listening or watching were around for like 2GG Civil War, like that tournament, like that broke a lot of standards. And
it was special. Like the it's the best word for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like
some of these tournaments
are
just once in a lifetime. So.
Yeah, and I mean Civil War never happened again. But we were just wondering, like, when that was a great tournament.
And a big part of it was the format, right? Because it wasn't just you. No one went there. Like, dude, there was possibilities if this was a normal format that someone that you went 0-2 or that Gluto goes 0-2 or Light goes 0-2 or like anybody was susceptible for that to happen. But instead they did the right format. The LCQ was like a great addition to have in there. And on the ultimate side, especially, really, really fucking worked out. We haven't even talked about Kurama yet, by the way.
I was going to say, it's hard to talk about the individual results from my perspective because I was so invested with myself and there's so much going on. But we definitely could dive into some of the individual results. We talked about Leo. We talked about Kurama doing well. We talked about Big D. Kurama and Big D are interesting specifically because they got in through the LCQ, right?
Yeah, and Kurama did the best of any LCQ qualifier on the Melee or the Ultimate side as well, which was really, really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, we've all known that Kurama was built for a run like that, but at a tournament of this size and of that skill level, I don't even know about that skill level is literally the peak. Like, this is literally the best skill level that you can have. You never know what's going to happen. So it was really nice to see him do well. And it could have been him. It could have been a couple people in the LCQ that, like, if Shattuck had qualified and made his
Jackal.
Bracket,
Jackal was very
what a heartbreaker set, bro. Damn.
But he had
again, dude.
He had wins on Ken, game 5 set with Ken. He beat Myran as well, I believe. He played a set with Big D. He had a really close set with Riddles. He had a really close set with Spargo again. Like, Jackal is right there. And well, it's not even right. He is there. Like, he is a top player, best of the best, and he keeps proving it again and again. And obviously one of my best friends and like practice partners. So shout outs to Jude. Great job. A lot of great sets. And definitely just keep cementing himself as just one of the people to look out for any bracket. So
right,
repping the wolf. But man, it's crazy too because Dark Wizzy Bark Wizzy has been doing pretty well as of recently, as with Mario, and then now Kurama with this run. I know a lot of the community, we kind of didn't know where to put Mario in general.
It's still hard. It's still hard.
Fighter Pass 2 meta, right?
Because we forgetting about Mario,
yeah,
right. Is all the sword characters, but how
you can't mod his skills.
You can't mod his skills, and we're talking about Big D having a pretty good bracket until like until the final day, right? Like Big D had some pretty good matchups for either his character or maybe matchups he's really experienced with, and then we saw Big D run into like Shuton, and who did he run into in losers?
Onin,
right? So it's
wait,
like
Akula? Was it Steve?
I think it was the Gamo run back. So I think it was Onin.
He did, yeah. He lost to Onin in losers, and he lost to Shuton twice as well, which really sucks. But not the worst case of bad bracket luck we saw a weekend, because shoutouts to the Buzz yet again.
Oh, yeah. The Buzz has the worst
God damn, dude. What the
heck?
But
Kurama didn't have that many great matchups for Mario, but still, like, he
literally Spargo. Literally Spargo.
Literally, that's got, I don't know if, it can't be, like, the worst, but we always talk about the keep away sword characters, right? And maybe it is the worst. I'm not too sure. I would probably have to just talk to one of the Mario men.
I doubt it's the worst. I would assume Mario's worst matchup, or at least worse than Cloud, is Shulk.
Oh, yeah.
Fair.
That's fair. But
I know for sure Shulk Mario would be worse than Cloud Mario. I do think that.
So,
The
but like,
combo breaking with the shield art and all that, you're thinking all that stuff, dude. It's like Cloud's
probably-
range plus more.
Yeah, everything is the worst case scenario in my head.
But Spargo's Cloud, man.
It's
Master
definitely
character, it's
not a
rough.
good role for Kurama, but managed to win. So
I'm trying to pull up his run right now through the LCQ. Yeah, his run. He beat Atlas, who's a Zelda player, round 1, and then Yanni, Shattuck, which is also
Another sword matchup.
Yeah, amazing sword player. Sky J 3-0, by the way, and that qualified him. So he only lost 1 game to Yanni and 1 game to Kurama, and then 3-0 Sky J.
how is
3-0
Mario
Atlas.
Steve? That's interesting. I haven't
We saw
thought
it a
about
couple
that one.
times. We saw he did. Who else did he play?
It sounds at least hard.
He played
for
Aquila.
Yeah, he lost
Yeah, he lost.
I see.
in losers finals. Hold on, I have the full bracket up here too.
Yeah, I mean, it would. You have the air mobility, but I'd imagine like after dirt blocks are done and Steve is laying down, harder to kill blocks. I don't really see Mario having too many good moves that can clear out blocks at a
Yeah.
safe range. Like I can kind of see Fair like sweeping down, but not incredible range. And Steve's are also starting to do the thing where they stand behind the blocks if you don't have good range, like Cloud or something, and they'll like as you hit the blocks, they time a forward smash and they just like duff you in the face with their sword.
They protect the house, bro. They got
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, what are you doing? I built
Yeah.
this.
Kurama's combo game, my God,
Yeah.
it was
Some of the best offense in Ultimate period.
It's
Yeah.
insane.
Always has been too.
Yes.
That's always what we said too. Like even early on, Dark
Like if
Wizzy's
you get
like,
hit, it's done.
the thing is that Kurama has amazing fundies too, but like just for simplicity's sake, it's like Wizzy's like the fundamental Mario where he focuses more on a slower neutral and pacing it down. Not
Yeah.
Kurama clearly has incredible fundamentals too, but Kurama's punish game is where he outshines Wizzy. So, but I
Mhm.
mean they're both really, really good. But 3-2 Spargo, 3-1 Kola, 3-1 Shuton was his win in his run in the final bracket. And
Fantastic.
especially the way Kola and Shuton were playing, and Spargo's playing great too. The way that all 3 of them were playing, that's one of the best runs that we've seen in this bracket, at Lud's bracket, which therefore like one of the best runs of all time. I honestly think Big D's might be better just because it was 2 3-0s and a 3-1 against you, and it was Light and Riddles. But I mean, come on.
I mean,
Godlike
Light
runs
and Riddles
either
are
way.
like some of the best players on the planet right now.
Dude.
Obviously, I'm up there too, but like I guess in combination with all like it's with Ice Climbers, yeah. I mean, I don't even necessarily disagree.
I thought too that Shuton was playing. I think I put 3 players in as playing the best on Sunday. I thought it was Leo, obviously,
Yeah.
Kurama, obviously, and then I thought Shuton was playing so well all weekend, like just rock solid, like kind of quietly just walked through his bracket, which is wild to say in a bracket this big. But
You know who had a rough Swiss phase was Gluto. Gluto ran into a lot of tough matchups. He ran into Sonics. He ran into T. Just some of the worst roles for Wario. So being able to make it into the final bracket and then even beating me, it's not like a bad matchup, but like the head-to-head is really in my favor. So I feel like Gluto had a really tough role, but kind of like I'm not in Gluto's brain right now, but like as someone who like I played against a lot of hard matchups this weekend. I played a lot of Wario myself. Like Gluto's a really optimistic guy, and I know Gluto said like he has a lot to work on as well. Like after this weekend, like so definitely like I feel like we had similar experiences and like we had a lot of tough roles, but like there's definitely something to get out of it. Even like Riddles like ran into Big D is really tough. Cola managed to get a set off Riddles, which is really, really difficult for him a lot of the time. I know they have close sets.
that was
just a lot of really interesting I guess storylines is a word for it. Like Light had a tough one. Like Light's been like getting like top 2 every freaking tournament. Like lost to Zomba game 5.
They always have close sets.
Running into like Steve is difficult. Running into Ice Climbers was difficult. Like I feel like just because of the nature of the event, like you're running into a lot of the worst case scenarios just because of the talent of all the players. And I think that even makes me give more credit to Leo, who's just so sound and ready for so much. Like Has said earlier, like I can't say the same for the rest of the top players, including myself. Like Leo's just like ready for anything. And it just makes the people who did really, really well. Like, you know, top 8, top 5 in this event. Really impressive. Onan and Akola did really well. Kurama did really well. Like Leo winning the entire thing. Like, it's just, you know, shout outs to that for sure.
Who did Akola? Did Akola lose in Swiss format?
I'm checking right now. I think so, because I don't think he didn't get to pick his opponent.
First round, I believe, Akola lost of Swiss format. I think
Spargo?
we commentated like 3 Japanese players in a row at the very start of the Swiss format, and they all lost. It was like Zachary, I think Akola was one of them.
And
then
Cosmo's getting a win on Zachary is really interesting. That was a really interesting set.
Zachary's tournament in general was interesting, to say the least. Like,
yeah, man. I don't have too much other than that. There's just so many things that happened.
It's funny because any of these matchups at a major, I would remember every detail of it. But since every single set that we commentated could have been grand finals at a major, it was just like it was like Smash Overload, which never had, like, dude, I'd be watching 8 streams on 2 monitors. You know what I'm saying? Yep. Like, I don't care. But the fact that it was all in one place at the same time. Fucking insane, dude.
Yeah.
Look at Swiss Bulls right now.
In the final bracket, he only lost to Leo, right?
Who'd you ask about? Asimo?
Akola. In the final bracket, he only lost to Leo, right?
Mm-hmm.
He just lost to Leo twice. Like,
yeah.
Got second.
That's a good point.
Classic.
Well,
unfortunate.
It's the classic flip flop. It was Kazuya during the Big House, and now we're back on to hating Steve this tournament. So next weekend, congrats to Riddles at Let's Make Moves Miami. Right, that's how it works. Cause
ping pong.
Yeah,
no, exactly. It's gonna be Diddy Kong. Hopefully,
I hope so. That would be great.
Let's
go, Aaron.
He was mentioning on the stream earlier how he actually kind of wished he went some more Terry, which is really interesting because I know after Big House, he was like really on Kazuya. But
you think that's hindsight or what?
I mean,
he said like
he
said against Big D, like the last time he beat him was with Terry.
Oh, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Did he not even try it?
No,
he went
really
Kazuya, Belmont.
Yeah. I feel like it could have been
was looking rusty.
I feel like it could have been Terry Belmont or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I'm sure he was like that's the thing when you're like a newer, younger player, when you start winning like bigger events where you're like, oh, I won with Kazuya.
I'm going with Kazuya. I could do anything with Kazuya.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people have those experiences, especially like if you're right off of a good win. It's like it's hard to be like super on paper because like. It's like switching characters mid-set after winning a game.
Yep.
Even when it makes sense, it's really hard to do that in the moment because you don't want to risk that. You want to go with
Proto.
Yeah.
Say Proto at Summit. Oh, I always think of
like
that.
That takes a lot.
As well.
That takes a lot of discipline, in my opinion.
So hard, but
it's a lot to think about.
Something he should think about too is he went Kazuya at the Big House and it worked out for him, but that doesn't mean that he's going to run into players where he doesn't have to mix it up. It just happened to work that way at the Big House, right? He just didn't need to do it at that tournament, so he'll figure it out though. He always does.
And when you have a specific amount of games to work with, like that's obviously hard too. Like I mean, it's just like my set with Big D, right? Like,
yeah,
I have my regrets and everything, but realistically, it's like it's not like I know what's going to happen. So
right, cool. Yeah, I mean, obviously I love the event as well.
Fantastic, yeah.
What an honor to be invited to the first one and to commentate, obviously. I had so much fun on the mic with Charles and Blast Zone, obviously. Maybe a little too much fun at times, maybe a little more focusing on the match.
It's cool to be in Vegas this year because we weren't at EVO, right? It felt like this was a nice surprise, like experience that was, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and on the commentary, I know it's been pretty polarizing, the feedback, but I think this event was unique even for, I mean, we've all been commentating for so many years. I think it was unique in the way that it was formatted, and also it had that casual kind of flair to it, because like we were on Alpha Rad's YouTube channel, so it was kind of, you know, we had a lot of fun is what I'll say. I think it's some of the most fun I've ever had commentating. Right. I think an adjustment I'll make for myself going forward is just make sure that, you know, focus up a little bit. So there was a lot of feedback around that. There was a lot of feedback around a lot of stuff on commentary. I think the one that actually only really sticks with me where I'm like, that's fair, aside from like just people being dicks in general. I don't agree with that, obviously. If you have constructive, why can't I say this? Edit this, Crunch. If you have constructive criticism about commentary, just DM them, man. We'll respond. Be nice too. Don't be a dick, because I don't want someone's being a dick about commentary. I don't listen to you just because I'm like, I'm not gonna listen to you because you are like acting this way.
Yeah.
But I think the fair feedback was more focused on the matches, and I also think we were fucking hilarious. So it's like maybe just a little more balance would be good. But I think overall, that's the vibe that, you know, that's the direction that the event wanted, and that's what we wanted to go with, and we had fun. So it was a good time. I loved it. Obviously, I loved working with everyone there, especially the commentary crew, especially the production crew, and just being around so many top players and around so many good matches was an honor to say the least. Also, I worked my ass off to lose a ton of weight, so I wouldn't feel bad about myself at that event. Shout outs to me for doing that, hitting my goals. Immediately putting it all back on in Vegas, but you know, it's all good. I'll get back into it this week. Gym right after this podcast, actually. So I had an amazing time, is the bottom line. Hopefully come back with Marcus.
I think those were some great like final thoughts. I think that about wraps it up for this week. Once again, thank you to everyone for making that event possible. It was an honor to be there. And but there is Let's Make Moves Miami this weekend. I will be there.
Nice.
Traditional bracket this time. And I
Charles will be there too.
Yeah.
Yes, I
will be trying my ass off.
Nice. And one last thing. Shout out to Viva Last Smash, obviously in Mexico. Also went on this weekend. Maybe a little under the radar because his tournament cast a big shadow, is the way I'll put it. Yeah. Alan Dis won the tournament. Big boss getting second. Alan Dis didn't drop a set. Cloudy actually got 5th as well. And my man Nito got top 8, 7th place. So that's my guy right there. But yeah, good stuff. Just a good tournament right there. Make sure you go back and watch the VODs.
King won Melee.
Mewtwo King won Melee. Yep, good point. Sure
it's been a while since that sentence has been said, right? So
it has. He picked a good one to go to.
Yeah.
I mean, 100 of the best players were in Las Vegas that weekend. Yeah. True. He's back to Brawl Mewtwo King, bro. He's
Shark
back
in these tournaments.
He is. No, it is good to see. It is good to see his name on the winner's circle for real, though. It is. He's obviously the GOAT. So, okay. All right.
Have a good one, y'all. Thanks so much.
See you.
See you.
Bye.